We have an extremely powerful system headed our way for the weekend. Now, this one is going to be right on the heels of the first one coming Friday. This one starts later Saturday evening, lasts through Sunday, through the day Monday, and potentially even into the day Tuesday. So, because this is a longer form video, we're going to kind of walk through a couple things here. I want to start with the European model, just one run of it. If you're familiar with these models, this is called the deterministic run. Now, this is actually later Saturday evening, technically about 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So, here's how this looks. By the time we get into Sunday morning right here, this is 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. We have widespread heavier snow going on from central Michigan up into northern lower, likewise into the southwestern part of the upper peninsula. That continues onward. By the time we get toward the later afternoon hours here, this is about 5 p.m. or so. We're starting to see freezing rain develop in northern lower with very heavy snowfall from the tip of the mitt up into the upper peninsula. Notice that freezing rain stays pretty intense. Now, that was over the course of 6 hours that I just flew through those two slides. We have a lot of snow ongoing still across the upper peninsula, freezing rain, and then potentially some heavier rains down to the south into lower Michigan as well. Exact timing here is 11 p.m. Sunday. Going forward, the next couple of segments, now that was another 6 hours, so we're actually at about 5 o'clock in the morning on Monday. Freezing rain is still ongoing, and this is exactly what we don't want to see across northern lower Michigan, where we just had the ice storm last year at this time. Heavier snow continuing into early Monday, heavy rain down to the south. Over the next several hours by Monday afternoon, the freezing rain is finally out of here when the center of the low pressure finally starts to move out. We have snow wrapping around the back side of it now, and again, this is getting into Monday afternoon. Monday evening right here, you can see not a lot of progress has been made. Still a lot of very heavy snow, very intense winds coming down for parts of the state, especially the eastern UP at this time. Now we're getting into Tuesday morning. This is 8 o'clock in the morning for your Tuesday. Also, St. Patrick's Day, we're looking at really some lake effect snow lingering on here, and that lake effect could last throughout most of the day Tuesday before we start to wrap that up. Now, of course, I don't want to just look at one model here, so we're going to break it down a little bit more. I want to look at the GFS also. There's that first system coming through, and here's our second system that we're tracking again later Saturday night through Sunday, Monday, and potentially into Tuesday morning. So the GFS here, maybe just a little bit further south with the starting point here, right? So we're looking at, again, early Sunday morning, 2 o'clock in the morning as the start time. This one, though, with the orange color is indicating the possibility of sleet with some heavier snow coming down. And we would way prefer sleet over freezing rain as it doesn't stick as much. But look at that intense, heavy snowfall. And this is by Sunday evening. So we're looking at 5 p.m. right now. And, well, we have very heavy snow across the upper peninsula and that freezing rain threat developing as well. Notice the freezing rain threat is just makes my heart sink, to be totally honest. That's exactly where I grew up in northern lower Michigan, and I don't want to see them deal with this again. But here's what it's looking like. Heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain with rain down to the south. Again, this is the American model, the GFS, lasting into Monday morning, and then finally starting to do the same thing with the wraparound snow into early Tuesday. Now, there's a couple different ways aside from this that we can break it down, but I want to take a look at just one more really quick, and that would be the Canadian model, just so we have the big three covered, if you will. This one is even further south with that possibility of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, also lifting up to the north and also putting the bullseye of the freezing rain likely around the Gaylord, Vanderbilt, Wolverine area, maybe even up to Sheboygan. Traverse City might deal with it this time as well, with just intense heavy snow. And now the other problem here is if we do get this freezing rain to develop, there will be a ton of wind on the back side. And when you have heavy branches swaying around in the wind can cause a lot more damage as well. Now, I realize the forest has basically been thinned up there already. We may not have as much damage as last time, but I think additional areas will be damaged this time, potentially, to where we might have to deal with a very wide range of impacts, long duration impacts, maybe even long duration power outages yet again. Now, this storm is going to be so powerful that it is going to aid in buckling the jet stream and getting us some cold air in here. So as it progresses on through, I mean, look at that. This is a very strong storm, and riding a trough like that, especially where it's positioned, can make it intensify even more. just based on where it is being influenced by the jet stream. And then it moves on out. But look at that cold air lingering behind for a couple of days before we start to moderate. Now, something that we can also look at are called ensemble models. Ensemble models are just little variations of the parent model, in this case the European. We have 51 different models that we average together, and when those averages kind of, line up better, we have a better idea that something is more likely to happen. So here's the possibility of 12 inches or more, and this is assuming the ratio of snowfall is 10 inches of snow melts down to 1 inch of water. So remember, we got to work with the available moisture in the atmosphere. We're just determining how that moisture falls, basically. So this is the probability of 12 inches or more in a 24-hour span. Notice the heaviest right through the straits into the eastern UP, tip of the Mitt, maybe even over towards Traverse City and the Leelanau Peninsula, Beaver Island, Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes, things like that. So that is the possibility for 12 inches of snow. I'm going to go back a little bit here. Let's up it. Let's go to 18. The probability of 18 inches of snow or more in 24 hours is there across the tip of the Mitt. You want to go a step higher? That's the 24-inch range. I'm not seeing anything as I thumb through this on the 24-inch range. That would be insane to have 2 inches of snow per hour for 12 hours. That would just be a lot. But now, cumulatively, we have two systems coming through. So we have the first system followed by the second system, right? So of those two systems here, we're looking at a 100% chance of 12 inches of snow for the areas in red. That's a lot. That's a lot. 18 inches of snow, we're still getting up there. Look at that. In some cases, we're more than 80% of 18 inches of snow or more by the time we get through St. Patrick's Day. We're still up there. This is 50 to 60% at the highest percent chances of 24 inches or more of snow. 36? Oh, we got a little bit showing on the map here. I think that's a lot of the question. I'm not going to really buy into a 10% chance, but that chance is there. Now, something else that we can do to help aid in the forecasting here is, again, just looking at how much moisture is possible and then determining how it falls, how much snow adds up from the available moisture that we have, and going from there. The European model here, as you can see, is putting out between 2 and 2.5 inches of moisture in those darker red areas. That's a lot. So that could fall in the form of freezing rain, sleet, snow, rain for some. A lot of different things can happen there. I'll switch it over to a different model really quick, the GFS. This one is going up to 3 inches of moisture in some cases. The Canadian model also going up to 3 inches or just over in terms of total moisture for this thing to work with. So that's a lot. Now, it's a little too early to go specifics, especially since things are shifting around and we are talking about people needing to make some really hard decisions here. So I'm not going to jump the gun and be irresponsible, but according to the European model, this breaks down the precipitation by type, which is really, really nice. So as you can see here, rain, got a good potential amount of rain coming our way. Freezing rain, unfortunately, the heaviest areas are likely to be in northern lower Michigan again, and in some cases, the same areas hit by the big old ice storm last year. And I'm sure everyone's looking at the snow, right? Snowfall is literally maxed out on the contours here for this model, and a little bit of sleet is possible. But let's look at the other ones, all right? The GFS, this one, lining up with the Euro, not half bad to be totally honest. But that bullseye of pink is definitely scaring me a little bit for the freezing rain potential in northern lower. Hopefully we get more sleet out of it. That would be a great thing. And then you can see the snow on this one. A little bit different, right? So if I go back to the European, it's very similar, but with just subtle changes. But those subtle changes mean big differences for everyone. And we can look at the Canadian really quick. And again, it's got the bullseyes pretty much in the same spot. This model picking up on a lot more sleet potential than the other couple of models. So another thing we can look at a little bit here is from the WPC, the Weather Prediction Center. They do a really awesome interactive winter weather map here for you. This is the possibility of at least 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain. Now, I think this is a little too far south. They generally are, honestly, maybe up to 6 hours behind some of the newer model runs sometimes. So I do expect that to update a little bit. But the point here is just kind of the amounts. There is the amount possible of more than 1/4 of an inch that is being indicated here. Now, in terms of snowfall, obviously, we can look at that, and there's going to be potentially a lot of it coming our way. In terms of all the snowfall here that could be coming our way, though, I just want to point this out and show it to you really quick. This is the chance of 8 inches or more. We're getting up to 95 to 100%. 12 inches or more, 80 to 90%. Some cases, well over that in the Western UP. 18 inches, 24 inches, and more than 30 inches is just not out of the question. Again, that's between two storms, but that possibility for that second one to be a behemoth is absolutely there. So, all this to say, there's a lot going on. This is going to be a high impact storm. It's going to impact a lot of people. So, responsible forecasting is definitely the way to go. If you see someone throwing numbers out already, we have a whole system to get through first. That system's still out over the ocean. We haven't even let it get on shore to be sampled by our instruments yet. So it is going to be a little bit of time. This is what it looks like now. If you want to start making low grade preparations, absolutely. Do we need to start nailing things to the walls? No, not at all. But just keep in mind, it's time to kind of have a plan in place, I would say. I'm letting my family and friends know up in northern Michigan that we have the possibility for another significant ice storm. Do with that information what you will, but I will say that I will keep providing you a lot of updates. This is how winter forecasting works. We're not going to have all the answers right now. We just won't. And if someone's telling you that they do, they're lying. If they show you a map that says 26.8 inches of snow, that is raw model output. You need to find a new meteorologist because that is awful. We have all the tools here to make our own forecasts, and it is up to you, the viewer, to follow responsible forecasters. Unfortunately, I can't go fight all the bad ones off Facebook for everybody. So keep in mind that this is going to be a high impact storm. There will be a lot of snow, and there will be an area with intense freezing rain. So, again, we're going to deal with that, and we're going to watch out for it. I'll have more updates pretty much coming every 12 hours, if not 6 hours, over the next couple of days.